Well, good afternoon, everybody. How's it going? It's, yeah, a bit cold here today, I must admit. So we do have the heating on. And, of course, it's way better than the last place we were in, so I'm not complaining in the slightest. I'm hoping that John's going to be around to bring me a cup of tea halfway through because, as we know, I did let Leslie Alpha's off this week, so she's having a bit of a break. However, having said that, we've got Dobby working very hard downstairs. He is polishing every little bit of cutlery we can find. I don't know if you saw the video of his little escapade in Craftopia this weekend, but if you didn't, you really need to watch it just to see the kind of things he was getting up to. So he's paying for it now. So, yeah, anything that we need polishing or slightly polishing, he's on it this week. So, okay, let's get us started then. We got tile 187. Let's do it that way. That would help, wouldn't it? And, okay, I've got my white pen today, my white gel pen. I did sort of give you a heads up of this one. So I have suggested a dark tile. I've not used black because I do want to do a little bit of shading on it as well. So I've gone with one of the darker blues out of the botanical collection. Yeah, of course, my white gel pen. There we go. I've still got my regular black pen as well. I've got my white chalk pencil. There we go. And a regular pencil. I've got my red Sanntangle one today. And I've got a couple of tortillons lying around. And of course, I did mention a couple of inks. So I've got 4 coloured inks, as long as they're water-based. It really doesn't matter what colours, whatever you want to go with. And of course, I'm not going to be inking on my board. I've got something that I can just sort of put underneath to help me with that. And yes, thank you. We did have a good weekend. It was, yeah, it was really good. I'm really pleased to get out and about there, of course. And, you know, to meet new people. It was lovely. And, of course, some people that I already knew through Facebook. So, yeah, absolutely. So here we go then, everybody. Let's make a start. Whew. What I am going to do, I've got a white tile here. So if it's a little bit difficult to see something, I can draw it on a white tile as well, just so you can see what we're doing. But let's give it a go then. So, okay, I'm going to come in to start with, just with my regular pencil. I'm just going to do a little bit of a construction shape in the middle. When I say shape, it's going to look kind of square, but it doesn't have to be perfectly square, as we will know. I'm going to do it sort of not in the centre, slightly off as well. So here we go. I'm just going to draw it in. I'll show you what I am going to do. There you go. A little square like that. So I'm going to do something similar, and I'll do it a little bit darker. And then hopefully, because it's a bit dark, we might not see it. Okay, let's have a look at that. There we go. So I've drawn the same sort of thing. See, just a little bit of a 4-sided square. And then there we are. So, okay, just so you can sort of get the grips where it is. Mine's about the same place, but as long as it's somewhere, that's fine. Okay. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in my white pen. Now, of course, always check that your pen works before you start this. They sometimes, look, I've done a test, they sometimes need to just have a little bit of a warm up before you get going. But as you know, slow down with these. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on these corner bits here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sort of a letter C. Now, I'm going to draw it on this one, but then I'll draw it on this one as well, so you can see in real time what it is I'm doing. Okay. So then I'm going to come back to this one, and I'm going to do a little bit of an aura around it. Okay. So same on this one, look. Just so you can see what I'm doing. All right. So then I'm going to do the same on the others as well. Now, of course, turn your tile if you want to, so you can see it a little bit better. So there's that little C. And there again. All right, so you can see that. See, you can see. There we go. That one there. And that one there. That makes sort of sense. All right. So then I'm just going to do another one this side. So on each of those corners we've got this kind of shape, and then another one on this side. They don't all have to be the same size, it really doesn't matter. But there we go. All right, so if I just pick up a little bit, There you are, you see that I've done it on all corners, just as we were doing on that one. Okay, so I'll take that one away now, because hopefully we'll be able to see what it is. See what we're doing, okay? See what we're doing. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to work on, doesn't matter which, because we're going to do the same with all. I'm going to sort of use that square grid as a guide. Just got that line in, you see, and then I'm going to sweep it out to the very end of the tile. Okay? And then same again. Oh, goodness, Kim, hope you're okay. Goodness me, bet that was a bit of a trauma. I hope you're all right. I'm going to chill out. Goodness. All these things. There we go. So I'm going to do the same on this one. And then, of course, same on this one. Don't forget to turn your tile. I'm just doing it this way. Just keep turning it, just sometimes cause a bit of, yeah, and there. Okay. And this one. You see, slow down with these pens, because of course you want to make sure that your lines work and don't sort of mix. So you see, I've got some little gaps here now. I'm just gonna join that. See, join that one now. I've got a bit of a shape there, and then that's just coming in and filling that little bit there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on this one. So if I just sort of work that round and that round to join, and then fill in those little bits there. Okay, and then same on this one. So I don't know if you've seen the post that I put out. I did take the finished mosaic that we did for Susan to her family on Monday evening, and handed it over. I really didn't want to put it in the post. So thank you to everyone who took part in that, and the family also want to say thank you. They loved it, and it's going to go up in Susan's craft room, so that should be nice. And of course, I've put a post on, as I say, but I've also done it as a download on my page, just so you can get a better quality image. Really, that was the intention there. So if you want that, please go ahead and download that. Just absolutely free of charge, of course. It's just so you could get a better quality image. All right, so you can see here now, I'm just coming back in, and I'm just going to draw in that square that I drew. Say square very loosely, doesn't have to be the same size. It might be a bit wonky, but that's fine. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. So let's have a quick look at what we've got. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put a border in, and if you want to do straight lines, that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to do it freehand. Just take my time. You know, move my hand rather than the tile there. Oh, Lynn, it was, you imagine 96 tiles. So it was quite a large piece. I think maybe, I'm just going to ask John. John, yeah? You think that frame that we had with those tiles was about A2, or was it a little bit bigger?
A bit bigger than A2.
It was a little bit bigger than A2. There we go. A little bit bigger than A2. So it was really nice big piece. It's lovely, and I'm sure you'll spot yours in there. I placed them wherever I thought was appropriate, so hopefully you like it as well. There we go. So all right, a little bit of a frame going on there. So I'm just going to bring out, let's go a bit larger so you can see what I'm doing. Sort of from here, I'm just going to bring out that line just a bit wider, and then the same on the other side, just to the border. And then remember, you don't want to smudge it, so when you're turning your tile to draw, just sort of think about which way you're taking it, and then into this one. All right. It's amazing, isn't it, what we can do together? We put our minds to it. There we go. What's the third, John?
Third.
Third, yeah. Okay, so here we go. Oh, Nadia, it was no trouble. It was the least I could do. And you're the ones that did all the work with the tiles. I just put them all together, but no, it was well worth it. And I'm glad we did it. It was amazing. Okay, I'm just sort of filling this in with some stripe lines. Oh, okay, now I know. No, it's any age, isn't it? You just look after yourself. Absolutely. Okay. So, there we go. And the same on this side. Just sort of filling in that little space there. It's kind of nice to work with a white pen. I know I do like my black tiles, but these sort of blue ones as well. And of course there's like a really dark green in this set, isn't there? It'll be a nice one to work in as well. Just so it's got that little bit of warmth that you don't get with the black. But of course you can still, you know, use your white pen on them. It's quite nice. Okay, so I'm just going in and adding these little lines. There we go. Just up to the top there. And same on this one. This one's a little bit smaller than the others. Again, that just shows because we didn't want it in the middle, so it doesn't matter. There we go. Okay, so that's where we're at so far. So let's sort of bring our attention back to this middle piece. And I want an aura inside. So instead of having to move my tile for every single line, I can do those two first. Then turn it slightly. And then this one. And this one. And then turn it slightly. And then this one. And this one. And then of course, back again. This one. And this one. Alright, there's our little aura. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to make it a little bit wider. So shall we start with those lines again? So you see a bit wider here. So one here. One there. I might actually come in and do those two lines first. So I get the main sides. And then I can add in the curves to suit. Here we go. And then these little lines here, I'm going to join one to the other. One to the other. Okay, same on that corner. I might do that one while I'm there as well. And then back in to that corner there. One and two. Nice little sort of gem design there, isn't it? Okay, bubbles. We're going to put some bubbles in. And they don't all have to be large or small or the same size. Just sort of fill in the space that you have. And not to worry about it. If you think, oh, it's a bit uniform, then come on in this side and change it up a little bit. It's just about filling the space. There we go. You just sort of get that in. Of course, any gaps you can't fill, just take your time, but add it, you know, add it with a little bit of colour in there. Okay. Alright, not bad. Okay, that's our first sort of bit. Then just coming in and just add a little line. So it's not joining, just around the sides there. Oh, Sarah, I'm sure she's not going to be in too much trouble. She'll like this one. There we go. See this one? And there. All right, got bit of a shape going on. All right, I think so far this one's probably a little less stressful than the one we did the other day, the Halloween one. Although I must admit, what you've been doing with them, it's absolutely fabulous. You know, you've been adding your bats and all sorts of ghosts and ghouls in there. I'm really impressed. And of course, the colours that you've been doing are coming out. It's lovely. Okay, so I'm just sort of creating, on purpose, a slightly sort of wiggledy line going on here. And you see that these little bubbles are all different sizes. Okay, all right. And then I'm just going to join them together. So I'm going to start here and I'm just going to join the dots. Now, you see, because I've done it higgledy-piggledy on purpose, no need for straight lines. And then I'm going to do the same again. I'll just go a bit bigger so you can see what I'm doing. But you see, sort of in between the ones I've already done, so I can sort of fit in a couple in there. So it can get a little bit closer, but they sort of sit inside. There we go. Maybe one there. And again, join them up. There we go. I see I've gone quite straight there. You can actually do wavy if you want. I'm going to do one on the other side. So you can wobble your lines. It's entirely up to you. But, you know, keep them different sizes. Okay. And again, join the dots. Just one to the next. That's it. I'm gonna leave that one without, it's got nowhere to go kind of thing. But again, take your time with your pen. Remember that it takes a little bit longer for the ink to work on these. There we go. Larger piece there. I think maybe I'm going to do this side at the same time. There we go. See, just sort of adding those bubbles in, changing up the size, and then just joining them in. You see? Okay. Oh, it's not quite touching. And then here. You see, so far they've been pretty straight, but looking at the shape that we've got here, I'm going to leave that one too. We've got to think about how we're going to fill this. So I'm going to put one in here and then continue along there, just as before. But then I'm going to have a second row. You see, I've used the same one at the top there. So when we join them, we get one going this way. And from there, we're going to join that one that way. It fills the space a little bit better there. Okay. So let's do the same on this side. I'll put a larger one in there. And of course, adding just those bubbles that way. There we go. And then another row that way. Means that we don't have to squash any up at the top end there. We can just do however many we like. It's quite a little one there, that's fine. I can take that one over. And then here, look, I'm just going to join it from there and work my way around. Okay, filled that space. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do the same, to be honest, in all four sides, but I'm just going to work with this one. I'll come to the others. Now, I do find it easier, and I don't know how you do, but putting the lines in before I add all the dots. So doing one row at a time and then adding the next in just makes it a little easy to follow. I don't want to confuse myself. Doesn't take much, trust me. I mean, at the weekend I lost a key and then found it to the room. And I lost my car keys and then found them. Well, that was interesting. And then left my screen. So it's all good. Sometimes I don't know where my head's at. It's away with the fairies. But that's okay. Oh, I know Joanne just switched a printer on. But to be honest, he has been hoovering up as well. And he's fitting some cupboards in my little office, so I can do some printing in there. And we've got a little press in there. That's where, you know, if you have anything that's got a Sanntangle branded name on, at the moment we do all that ourselves. So I've got a few things coming up that need the name on, so he's putting me some cupboards in so I can get that started. Pat, trust me, Dobby daren't be mischievous this week. I know Leslie Alf isn't here to look after him, to keep him on the straight and narrow, but John's had words. And when John has words, you know it's serious. Yeah, after we had to bail him out of the one of the cells, the local police station on Sunday. Don't ask what he'd done, I'm not telling. But yeah, I think he's still got a bit of a sore head. Not from the beating, but from the wine. Don't mix wine and gin. Oh my goodness me. He's feeling a bit sorry for himself, I must admit. But we'll forgive him because he's cute. But not until he's cleaned all those pots and pans and polished all that cutlery. It's, yeah. I don't know. Things he got up to. He made some crazy friends, I must tell you. That's just them we know about. Oh dear. And Pauline, he's got quite a soft spot for Pauline Wheeler. Yeah. So I hope she gets over it. Sorry, Pauline, if you're watching. I hope you get over that soon. Honestly, if you've not seen that video, you need to go and watch it. You really do. Oh, dear me. I mean, we nearly lost him in the car on the way there. He decided to stick his head out the window. He didn't realise it was quite it was quite windy out there. Oh goodness me. No. Best behaviour just for a little while, I think. Oh dear. Okay. Okay. My job this week is to get his socks off him so we can wash them. Oh. Might take two of us. See there, like, I've got space so I can add that in there. Okay. Right, next one. And in there. Okay. Alright, see how it's looking? I've got one more sort of side to do, but look at that. There we go. Alright, let's do this one. So back into the middle. Again, just sort of keeping those bubbles different sizes. Okay. Oh, I know Kim, she's lovely. But I don't think she wanted to share her gin with him. No, that was interesting. A few rows there, but... Oh, goodness me. What a weekend. It was very nice though, it really was, really enjoyed it. Well, there we go. Just sort of adding in those little lines as before. Same again. Just sort of keeping it different sizes. See, because I've got something in the middle to separate them, I can actually do two sides at once. And then just come on in, add those lines just like before. Alright, same on this one. Oh, linnet wood, yeah, there's a lot you can do with it as well, certainly with these bubbles, because you can turn some of them into gems. You could add little pictures in some of them. It's all sorts of things. It's really nice. It's a nice little tangle to do as well. It's really nice to fill in. And of course you could come in and add an extra line in between each one, or little dots. I think for this one though, I'm just going to choose a few. Now this, I know we don't like the word random. I'm just going to choose a few at random. Okay. See, it doesn't always like going over a second time, so I'm just going to fill in, try it that way. There we go. Oh, did he, Sue? That's very nice of him. The chameleon pens do work really well with tangling, because you never know when they're going to change colour. I might just do that one there. Because they're fine liners, the only thing you have to remember with them is they are water based, so you can't then go and spritz over the top and things like that. So if you're going to use the chameleons, you need to ink your tile first, if you're going to ink it, and then draw over the top. Just a little bit of a heads up there. Alright. So I'm just choosing a few. I'm on purposely not trying to form a pattern. Okay. Same with these. Okay. Just sort of working my way around. There we go. Same with this one. Alright. And maybe this one. Let's see, if we slow down, we can fill it in a bit better. And of course, this would look nice with a different colour gel pen as well if you wanted. You can use a metallic, maybe a gold or a silver. It's your choice. And of course, it will stand out on its own with just doing this. We don't need the ink if we don't want it. Okay, so into this one. Again, not looking at what's gone before. We're just going to work around and choose a few. I'm not even counting how many I've done. Just going to pick on a few of them. There we go. And just sort of give them a little bit of finish, maybe a couple there. Okay. So we've got now these little gaps here, and this is something else that you could, continue onto your page if you wanted to. I'm just going to go in with a random line. Random again, there's that word. And then one here maybe. I'm going to cross one here. Now it always works much better if you turn your tile when you do this, because we're looking for random lines. We don't want a repeat or a particular pattern. You see, it's just about creating something a little bit different. So let's do the same on this one. So you're going to get slightly different angles and lines if you do it. Okay, maybe one there. Same with this one. Okay, I'm just going to bring that one down there. Just sort of go with it, and just want to fill in a few shapes there. And save as well. Glennis, I know. I did leave John at home with the dogs, yes. But I think the first night Benji did whine quite a bit, when we were on the phone. He quite likes his mum being there. But when I got back on Sunday, he didn't want to speak to me, I must admit. He was a little bit upset. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take each space and just sort of create a space or a shape within it. And just as I get to those corners, I'm just going to curve them round. Taking my time. Okay. And of course, any of these little gaps this time, I'm going to fill in as I go. You see there, normally we tend to keep them as they are, but I think this time I'm going to fill them in there. So working my space and around there. And this one, just on the edge. So of course that could extend out onto a page quite easily. And change the whole look of it really. Okay, there we go. So moving to the next one. Same again, bringing it round. Just sort of creating shapes within shapes. And curving that little corner bit as we go. And then working it round. Just taking my time. There we go. And then of course, filling in the edges there. Okay, I'm just going to fill that whole one in there. It's quite small. All right, and round to the next one. So filling this bit in. There we go. You sort of get the hang of it after a bit, and you don't have to stick within those lines. If you go off a little bit, it's absolutely fine. Certainly when you're filling it in, you can see that. You can just come on in, add that little bit of ink where you need it. It just sort of changes the dimensions a bit as well, because you're getting some 3 dimensions here, you know, with having it slightly thicker, so it looks more sort of forward than the rest of the tile. So it's a nice one to do. All right, see a little bit there, I missed. There we go. Same with this next one. Oh, there we go. In with this bit. And then just sort of working my way around, just as before. So whatever shape you've got there is whatever shape you fill in as you're going. And working my way around that way. And those bigger shapes, just sort of, you can fill in as you go. Come back and do it afterwards. Just gonna do a few bits there. I'll do a few then, fill them in. There we go. Just sort of adding in those little filled areas to the next. And just again, just checking I've filled all little bits in. Okay. So we will get round to rulers. It's we've just got a few bits to machine first for a show coming up, and then we'll get some more out. If we can slip a few in between, we will do. I know some of you are waiting for him. I'll have a chat with him in a bit. Okay. All right. So just sort of inside these little lines here, I'm just going to put a few little dots. You see, just sort of almost. We did something sort of similar on Friday, but I'm just going to let them peter out, you see, as we get further down. So a little bit heavier at this top end. See, just adding a few in there, and then as we get further down, they sort of start to space out. Same as this one. And sort of, in we go, with a few of these little bubbles. Okay, so quite a few to start with, and it's getting a little bit less, and a little bit less. All right. Okay. Just no rush. I'm not going to say it's like something falling out the sky that's white, so we're not having any of that. All right, let's have a look at where we're at. Okay. All right, quite a busy tile today, quite a lot going on, but I think it's nice now if we have a look and put something else on it, shall we? See where we're going. Now, the first thing you've got to do is to make sure everything on here is dry. So, you know, all that work we've just done, you see, completely dry. We don't want any little globs of white or any problems. It's got to be dry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bring in my little pad that's going to go underneath my tile. There we go. Okay. So I've got 4 colours. Doesn't matter what inks you've got, really doesn't. I've got these little ones here. So I've got a bit of a purpley colour, a bit of a blue, a bit of yellow, and a bit of orange. So I've just picked a general selection. Okay. So I'm going to come in with my yellow, just put a little bit on. Whatever way you put ink on, it really doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to choose, make sure it's dry. And I'm just going to ink over the top there, just in that corner. Okay, let's go down a little bit further there. Okay, so you can see that. Let's have a look. Yeah, we've got a bit of ink on, all right? So if I just change over my little coloured dauber, as we do, I'm going to come in with a bit of orange. See how, look, I've got two. I've got two. Okay. Turn it round, and here we go. Bit of orange, and let's do a bit more. Okay. Just sort of getting in there with some colour. So let's have a look at that. All right, we've got some orange on there. Let's see if I can get a little bit more in on those bubbles. There we go. All right, see, so we've gone from yellow into the orange. Let's get a bit of blue on there now. Okay, a bit of blue. There. A bit in there. See, I could even add a touch of blue in there. Gives it a little hint of maybe a bit of green. Doesn't matter what colours you use. It say whatever you've got. And a bit of this sort of purpley, magenta-y kind of colour. And let's just add that in there. A bit more. Look. So once all your white's covered, you shouldn't really now have anything that's white on there. It's all about filling in that space. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so you see there I've got purple, bit of blue, going into sort of the orange, into the yellow. So we've got a different take on that now. Okay, of course it's something different that we would usually you need using inks when you've got a light tile, but I thought with a darker tile it's a bit different, isn't it? So let's just pull it up a little bit more. And I'm going to come in now with my black pen. It's a regular black pen. Okay. So I'm just going to come on in with some black. And I'm just going to go round some of these bubbles. You see, I've not gone all the way around. I'm just adding in a touch. Sort of like that C again. Just on the same side with each of them. It's almost giving it a little bit of a three-dimensional effect there. But because we're using a darker tile and we've got ink on it now, you're going to see that. Okay? And then, see where I've gone this side? So I'm going to actually add some this side as well. See, just on each one. Actually, I might go around the whole thing. I think so. You know, even if you think, oh, I'm not going to see that, it's going to neaten it up a little bit. Sally, yours is definitely in there. So, absolutely. I remember putting it in myself, so I know yours is there, Sally. I can't tell you which one it was, but I can remember putting it in because I checked all the names on the back. Okay. So I'm going to do the same here and the same here. Okay, so I'm just going to draw, I'm not going to draw this line here, I'm just going to do that one and then move on. And this one, and this one. Then just this one. And then this one, and this one. Okay, so just that one there. Then on these edges, those. Okay, so that's giving us a little bit more dimension to. Okay, I prefer the round one if I'm honest. And if you find that you're having a little bit of trouble when you're inking, always you add a very, very small amount of baby oil to, not baby oil, sorry, baby oil for pencils, glycerin to you know, onto your mat, and just rub that into your dauber or whatever it is first, and you'll find hopefully that'll help blend a bit. Okay, next one then. I'm just going to bring in, remember this original shape? I'm just going to bring in that line there and that one there. All right, same on the other side, one there, all the way in, and then one there. Okay. I think if we suddenly went around and, oh, I haven't added any dots to that one, have I? Doesn't matter. And then added a black line now to everything, you'd find that you wouldn't get that little bit of depth. So we don't want to start adding black pen to everything. I'm just going to do a few bits. Okay, just so we can, you know, re-establish some lines in there. I could go back in and put some white dots back and then go back in with ink. So, it's not a problem if you forgot to put dots in places, it's not a problem. Okay, and I'm just going to choose a few of these, just fill them in. See, just inside those shapes now that are not white anymore, different colours. Almost like a chameleon effect, isn't it? But in a different way. And then some on this one as well. There we go. See, again, I'm not trying to form a pattern, I'm just picking a few. Of course, if you've got some that need a bit of neatening, maybe that's something. There you go. See that one there? Now you can come on in and change it a little bit. All around here. Okay. Just sort of adding those extra bits in. Just choosing a few. Turning it round. It's nice, isn't it, the different colours on it, and how it's made it look a little bit spacey almost. There we go. A couple in there. And in there. Alright. So just because we can, I'm just going to come back in here and I'm just going to add in some of those dots. There we go. Just sort of a few where we missed. Just so you can see that, yeah, it's pretty straightforward to come back in. What we've got to do though is make sure that it's dry. Okay, see this one at the top's a little bit wet still? Let's have a look. Let's touch it. There we go. Alright. If I just come back over and there you are, just sort of work it in a bit. Not too bad at all. Okay. So, okay, this is where we're at so far. I'm just going to bring my pencil in now. Let's go back up again. And all I want to do is just add just a little bit. And I know it's a dark tile, and you're not necessarily going to see all this, but I'm just going to add a little bit of pencil just around the edges there. And then just sort of on this side. So just sort of at the sides, just around there. Just to sort of re-establish the fact that yes, they are in front. I know it might not be spotted or seen, but it just makes me happier knowing it's there. Okay, I think we've done all sides now. And I'm just going to bring a little bit in, you know, just down the sides here. Just so we've got something. And this one. And this one. Okay, just working on this one. It's got that little bit of a glow from it. And of course, last one. There we go. One on there, and one there. Okay, let's have a look at this. so there we are. We've got a few bits almost done. And I'm just going to bring in a bit of white, just a bit of white pencil here. All I want to do, if I go a bit, here again, I'm just going to add a little highlight, just sort of on some of the larger ones that we can see there. Okay, and then just a little bit on the outside there. Not putting too much pressure on there. And then just sort of along the edges. I'm just going to put a little bit along the edges here, I think. Still about what bits do you want to highlight, what bits do you want to bring to the foreground or not. I'm just going to add a little bit either side. Little bits there. And little bits there. Let's have a look. Okay, so we see we've got this centerpiece here. That's the bit we want to. I'm just going to bring my torchon in. I'm just going to soften the edges of that pencil there, just on those edges. There we go. And then a cleaner one. I'm just going to say cleaner one. Goodness me, they were all white once. Just going to sort of blend that in a little bit. There we go. Okay, and I think I'm going to sort of leave that one at that, but just in case you want to see where we could go with it, I've done a different version. I'm just going to, where to put my name? I'm going to put my name there. I might even come back and just ink that in afterwards so it's not so bright. Oh, there we go. There's my R. Okay, so a bit of a spacey feel there. Okay, so let's just pull that up a little bit there so you can see it. And then if I bring in another one, this is the one I've done again with the botanicals. It's a slightly lighter blue, but you can see you're getting a similar colour. If I turn it there, so you're still getting your yellow, got my blues and my purples in there. But I've swapped it about a bit. So you see here, this one where you've got this tangle, I've actually put that tangle in the smaller gaps here, whereas in these sections you can see that the design's gone in there. And again, I've used dots here, but in this one I've actually used, let's have a quick look. There you go, you can see I've used slightly larger bubbles and things. So a lot of choice there. You can play with this one a little bit. Of course, you don't have to use a square. You could use a circle, you could use a triangle, you could add a hexagon, anything that then pulls off more of these if you want to. But that's a couple of options. So you see the difference in a second that it makes depending on which tangle you put where. So whichever design you choose, whichever one you have a go at, and of course have a go with your other coloured tiles, or even, you know, in fact, you can't really do it with a white, but even you could have a go. Then of course your white pen wouldn't be seen until you've inked it. So that's a little bit of something you can play with, isn't it? So have a bit of fun with this one, and it's a little bit more relaxed than it was on Friday. It's not as challenging maybe, but it's a really nice celebration of bubbles, isn't it? And all things that are like that. So have fun with it, as I say. Take care, everybody, and stay safe. And I'll see you again back here on Wednesday. And of course, if you want to go and download that picture, that mosaic of those tiles for Susan, then I did put the link on my Facebook page. Just go on in there and just click on download, and it'll download you I think it's a PDF or JPEG. If any problems, let me know. If you want it bigger, again, just give me a shout, and I can send you a different file. All right, so have fun, everybody, and take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.